So today I'm going to be talking about why you can't be emotional as a footballer now. I remember when I was, 16, I joined this new team. I remember we had this striker, our number 9, yeah. To be fair, he was an absolute baller. He was probably our best player. But I remember after every single game, nearly every single game, this guy would be in a fight every single game. I don't even know what would be said between him and like the centre back or him and then the opponent, but this guy was just always getting involved in something. Every single game, guy was getting involved in something. It got to the point where it's like even the other team's managers would tell their players to sort of wind him up and sort of, try to get him a red card. Because I've seen this guy, I've seen this guy try to headbutt a guy in the game. I've seen this guy, throw a punch in the game. Like, it's crazy. So it got to the point where, because he was our best player as well, it was sort of like the managers on the other team would literally tell their players, yo, try to make him angry, try to do something to him, try provoke him. That's the word. Try provoke him and make him do something. And you literally see, as a player, you could see when another player's trying to provoke someone. You know what I'm saying? They just kept going at him, kept going at him. And that's why I think as a footballer, just don't be emotional. You know what I'm saying? I know it can be tough because I can't lie. Some people you come up against in football are just dickheads, you know what I'm saying? They're just dickheads and they only act tough because they're on the pitch. You know them people who only act tough because they're on the pitch, but as soon as you tell them, yo, let's meet outside, they never want to meet outside. That's most footballers, I'll be honest. Nobody wants to fight after the game. Everyone wants to do, the whole pushing, the whole shoving thing in the game. But like nobody wants to go out to the car park and actually put those hands up, you know what I'm saying? That's why on the pitch I just be chilling, you know what I'm saying? I can't be asked for the fight because I know most guys on the pitch, are they really like that? Not really, you know what I'm saying? Majority of you, man, you're not boxers, you're not UFC fighters, you're footballers for a reason, you know what I'm saying? There's a reason why you're footballers and you're not rugby players, you know what I'm saying? Like most of you, man, outside, you're not really like that. It's more just a case of, they know they have the refs there, they have the linesmen there, they know that if they get touched, someone's getting a red card. Whereas, bro, after the game, if you get punched, if you get put to the ground, bro, someone's stomping you out, you know what I'm saying? There's no protection, but anyway, what I mean by don't be an emotional footballer is that, like I said, with the story, you're gonna get targeted and it's just gonna become annoying to a certain point where it's like, yo, you just be if you get that reputation of being a guy who lashes out, people are just gonna be like, yo, you're gonna have people on your back every single game. Even in the games where you're chilling, bro. Even in the games where it's like you're in a good mood. But if people know you have that reputation, the manager's gonna be like, yo, try poke him, try provoke him. You're gonna have people, try standing on your foot, trying to do certain weird stuff, you understand? So like I said, try not to get that reputation of being that guy, you know what I'm saying? If someone's provoking you, like I said, just let it be, you know what I'm saying? Just say a few words back, you know what I'm saying? In my opinion, you can talk shit to the cows come home, you know what I'm saying? But don't be a guy who's known for costing their team. Don't be a guy that's known to, get yellow cards for silly things, get red cards for silly things. Because as well, I feel like you can only get away with this as a player if you're literally one of the best players. Because if you're like borderline star, if you're like the ninth name on the team sheet, you know what I'm saying? You have your first names on the team sheet, then you have like the 5th or 6th. But if you're like ninth or on the team sheet and you're not really considered like a crucial player, bro, eventually your teammates are gonna get tired of you, bro. Eventually your manager's just gonna get tired of you as well, because it's gonna be like, yo, is his talent really worth all this commotion in the game? You know what I'm saying? For in my example, he was our best player, so you know what I'm saying, he got away with it because he was our best player. He scored majority of the goals, and if the manager's like, yo, you're on the bench, most of the time it was like, yo, we're gonna struggle to score goals without this guy, you know what I'm saying? So he got away with it. But if like I said, if you're like 8th, 9th man on the team, it's sort of like, yo, you just need to chill. Like you don't get that leniency, you understand? But yeah, if you're one of them guys where it's like you're a Diego Costa type of player, where it's like you annoy the other opponents, where it's like you're the shithousing, maybe when the ref's not looking, you step on the guy's foot, you push the guy, you just do certain things. That's calm as long as you never get caught, you know what I'm saying? If you're like a Luis Suarez type of guy where it's like your teammates love you but your opponents hate you, I feel like that's a good thing, where it's like you don't really get caught by the ref. But if you're the guy who's, you know what I'm saying, if you're the guy who's, swinging for guys in the match, if you're the guy that's getting rattled, that's where it becomes the problem. I don't mind you doing the rattling. I don't mind you, provoking other players, doing all of this. But don't be the guy who's known for always getting riled up. Because like I said, eventually, if you're not really the guy on your team, your manager, your coach, they're gonna get fed up with you. And then, like I said, you're gonna get a target. It's literally just gonna become an everyday thing to a point where it's like it just gets boring. You can't even play your game. You understand? So So literally, if someone's talking to you, if someone's trying to do something to you, you can give them back. But like I said, be sly with the ref, because like I said, you don't want to be that guy. Like you look at in real life, look at a guy like Vinicius Jr. Everyone's trying to rattle this guy. You know what I'm saying? Everyone's trying to rattle him. Players are trying to rattle him. Fans are trying to rattle him. I know the fans were being racist to the guy as well, but I feel like what's it called? But you have to understand with Vini as well is that there are other black players on the Real Madrid team. But why is it Vini that gets the brunt of it? Because they know he's a hothead, you know what I'm saying? Because they know that if they chant that shit at Camavinga, bro, Camavinga, he's not gonna do anything. Rudiger, he's not really gonna do anything. Guys like who else? Ferland Mendy's not gonna do anything. But I feel like Vinicius gets the brunt of it, even though it is wrong. I'm not saying the fans doing all of that is good. I'm not, obviously I feel bad for Vini in that case, but I personally feel like they do it to him specifically and not anyone else in the Real Madrid team, because they know he's the one that's going to get riled. And that's sort of the thing. Once you actually gain that reputation of being a guy who could be easily riled, you're just going to get the brunt of it. Even if it's something that you don't deserve, which he doesn't deserve, you're still going to get the brunt of it. So that's what I'm saying, is that don't end up being a guy who's always riled on the pitch, always ready to fight, you know what I'm saying, always, always getting involved in something. Yeah, because bro, just go out there and play football, you understand? Like me personally, I know in certain situations, if guys are being like heavily disrespectful, they're talking about family, they're talking about your mum, they're talking about your dad. Like I feel like personally, if a teammate came to me and they had crashed out on the pitch and they had punched the guy in the face or they had done something, in a situation, if they'd be like, yo, that guy was chatting about my mom, he's chatting about my dad, he's chatting about my dead relative, something like that, I would be like, alright, cool, fair enough, you know what I'm saying? That sort of gets a pass, you know what I'm saying? But to be fair, most of the time it's not going to escalate to that point, you know what I'm saying? It's not really going to escalate to the point where it's like, yo, they start chatting about this and that. Most of the time when I hear the stuff that players say to other players to get them rattled, most of the time it's not really that. Most of the time it's like, oh, you're shit, you've got the first touch of a pedo, all this type of thing. Oh, you've got 2 left feet, like all these type of things that are not really that deep, you understand? So you can't get rattled over that, because the final point as well is that if you're emotional, your game's just going to be full of highs and lows. You can never really get that consistency in your game. You want to sort of eliminate the emotion as much as possible, so you're just consistent, you know what I'm saying? You're high level and you're just consistent, because one game you might get rattled, your performance goes down. Then the next game you're motivated and then your performances go up and down. Not even game to game, but during the game. 1 minute, if you're an emotional guy, 1 minute you're up. 1 minute you're up, you're ready, you're prepared, you're ready to go. Next minute someone says something to you, you're rattled, you're angry, you're this, you're that. And this doesn't even go to the guys who are quote unquote angry. This goes to the guys who get discouraged so easily. Because I've met these players in my life where it's like they'll be fine, playing the game, they'll lose the ball once or they'll lose the ball twice. All of a sudden, you see the head down like this, and now they're like, oh, and then let's say there'll be a break in the game, let's say someone's injured, you go up to them and be like, yo, what's wrong, like why's your head down? And they'll be like, oh, I lost the ball 2 times, and I'll be like, man, what do you mean you lost the ball 2 times? Like, head up, bro, like, it's not that deep. You lose the ball, you get it back, you understand? So that's another form of emotion. When I mean emotion, it's not always, the guy who's gonna crash out and be angry. It's also them brothers who just get so discouraged over one mistake. And I can't lie, I used to be that guy, you know what I'm saying? But the things with me, I would be good at hiding it, you know what I'm saying? I'd be discouraged on the inside, but I'd be hiding it. It wouldn't show in my face or my body language, but deep down internally, I'd get discouraged. I'd be like, oh, I lost the ball twice, like, oh. Suddenly I'll be less, what's the word? Suddenly I'll be less, like, I want the ball less, you know what I'm saying? Suddenly I'll be less, I can't even find the word, but I'd stop showing for the ball as much, you know what I'm saying? I'd stop showing for the ball as much. I'd not want to try certain things. I wouldn't want to carry the ball like I'd carry the ball like I had carried the ball 20 minutes before in the game. You know what I'm saying? Once I used to lose the ball once or twice, I sort of get discouraged that way, but it never show in my face or my body language. But the worst guys is where it shows in their face and their body language. They're emotional and their head is down. Their head is down, you know what I'm saying? They're getting discouraged. You know them man who just start talking to themselves. They're just like, oh, it's fucking shit, it's this, it's that. Like, I've literally had teammates like that. Them man, bro, you go into the change room at halftime, they're not having the best game, and then they're just there talking to themselves. They're just there talking, oh, well, what's going on, this and that, oh, it's fucking shit. And they just start swearing, and you're just like, bro, what's wrong with this guy, bro? Like, just play the game, you understand? They'll literally just be there in their zone. What's it called? just talking to themselves. I'll be like, bro, like, what are you doing? Just clear your head and let's just play. Understand? But yeah. The whole point of this bit, don't be an emotional baller, you understand? Because if you're an emotional baller, emotions are always changing, bro. Like one minute you can be happy, one minute you can be sad. Think about it in your real life, bro. You wake up that morning, you're sad, you're depressed, you can't be arsed, you're tired. As soon as you get in the shower, alright, cool, you feel good, you feel fresh, like you're thinking, alright, let's go, let's get this day started. You brush your teeth in the morning. Before you go out of bed, you were tired, you were slumped. Get in the shower, brush your teeth, alright, cool, you're fresh. Let's say you're going to school that day. You get on the bus to school, the bus is just packed. Now you're just annoyed because you have to stand up, you can't sit down. Everyone's, you know what I'm saying? Everyone's trying to squeeze onto the bus. Now you're upset again. But then you finally get to school, you see your friends, you're happy again. You know what I'm saying? You see how emotion just changes, just how your emotions change like 4 or 5 times, literally in the space of what, 2 hours or something. So literally, you can't base your actions off emotion. Just make sure you take the emotion out of it and you just focus on the objective. You understand? Obviously, emotion can help you. You know, it can get you hyped. It can get you. Maybe you listen to a certain playlist before the game where it gets you hyped. But just make sure you're not at a 10 out of 10. Even with the good emotions, make sure you're not hyped to the point you're at a 10 out of 10, you're too excited, and then you go in and you two-foot someone, you understand? You go because you're too hyped, you're too amped for the game, you go in and you two-foot someone, and you get a booking early on, or you get a red card early on, you understand? You always want to keep at like a 7 out of 10, you know what I'm saying? Keep the good emotions at like a 7 or an 8 out of 10, so it's just steady, so it's just good performances. So it's to the point where it's like you're happy, you're gassed to, you know, be playing football, to be on the pitch. However, it's like, you're not but however, you can still make rational decisions, you understand? You can still make logical decisions that won't hurt your team during the game, during the next few games, during the season. So that's all I've got to say for this vid. I hope you enjoyed. I've been JT, and I'm out.